my literary luminaries, and welcome back. I apologize in advance if I seem a little, groggy or stuffed up or whatever. I have a wicked cold, and just, it's all right here. So it's very difficult to concentrate. I know I sound a little stuffed up, depending on what I say. So, forgive me in advance for the possibility of the next few videos sounding very much like this. But welcome back to Tuesday Talks. This week's topic is an interesting one because it's one that a lot of authors will talk about it, but generally in the sorry, I'm making all kinds of noise. Generally in the opposite sense. Because this week's topic is, what movie adaptation have you enjoyed more than the books? Normally when you hear authors talking, we say, the book was so much better. And so it's interesting to be able to take a step back and say, all right, which ones did it better as a movie? And I've got 3 that I'm going to talk about. One of which is going to lead into a little bit more explanation, but you'll see it when I get to it. So, numero uno on my list, and this is a little iffy, but the first one is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Now, before anyone says anything, I love the book. I think the book is flawless. It's wonderful. I love To Kill a Mockingbird. And so in many ways, I think this is a book-to-movie adaptation that absolutely lives up to the book. Because the movie is fantastic. Because Gregory Peck is Atticus Finch, and is just perfect. There is no better Atticus Finch. There never will be. There never was. He's wonderful. And just the casting and everything is so dead on in that movie. It really encapsulates everything good about the book and brings it to like a nice storytelling movie. So that one's less that I like the movie more, and simply that I like the movie equally as good, equally as well English as the book version. So maybe I'm bending the rules on that one. Number 2 on the list is one you've heard me talk about before, and that's The Great Gatsby. As you all know, I hate The Great Gatsby as a book. It's an awful book. Awful characters, stupid plot, everything is pointless. I can't stand Gatsby to save my life. However, I watched the most recent movie version with, what's his face? Tobey Maguire? Yeah, Tobey Maguire and Leonardo DiCaprio as the narrator and Gatsby, respectively. And it was really nicely done. I was a little hesitant about it because it was directed or some such by Baz Luhrmann, who also did Moulin Rouge. And Moulin Rouge is big sets, big everything, big, very in your face and sort of gaudy, grotesque in the manner of not ugly, but just like overwrought. And I wasn't really sure that fit nicely with what I saw in the book of Gatsby. But on one of my plane rides to Dublin for my, either to or from Dublin, for one of my residencies, I watched the movie because I remember seeing the pictures of DiCaprio as Gatsby and thinking that he really, really looked the part. And I'm glad that I did, because Leonardo DiCaprio was perfect as Jay Gatsby. He did that role phenomenally. And it was kind of good because all the other characters, they did well, but they're all just sort of meh. They're all just there. But that's what their characters are like in the book. That's my problem with the book. But it was a really, really nicely done movie. I think it really sort of took the essence of the story that Gatsby is trying to tell and put it in a movie well. So I absolutely enjoy that movie more than the book. But that's not saying much. And the third one that I want to talk about, that's leading a little bit into why I'm not mentioning some other ones, is Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. And I'm not talking about the movie that most recently came out like a couple years ago with Aaron Tveit and Eddie Redmayne and Russell Crowe and Hugh Jackman. That is his name, right? See, this is what you get from me when I have a cold. I forget people's names. I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about this one with Liam Neeson and Jeffrey Rush. This is actually where I first came across Jeffrey Rush before Pirates of the Caribbean became a thing. But that's a story for another time. And I really, really like that one. I haven't watched that version in a while, and I really need to go back and watch it because I remember really enjoying it. And the problem with Les Miserables, the book, is that it's a brick. That's what all the Les Mis fans call the unabridged book. That, like, it's this thick in itty-bitty text, and it's just cumbersome. It's so long. And, I mean, even the most diehard, like, Les Mis book fans that I've ever spoken to say that you read the book once, like the brick book once, to say that you've done it, and then you use it as a doorstop, and you never go back. Because it's just too unwieldy. And this movie in particular narrows it down to the core story quite nicely. All the movies have, because the musical does. And a lot of the renditions of it are the musical. This one is not. And so it's nice to see that you can just take the core of everything and shrink it down to something that is equally good, especially in this one when, you know, we know that there's been a musical and this is not. But that's why I'm not mentioning things like Phantom of the Opera, which is also a book that I have read and that I enjoy, but I like the movie rendition better. The problem is, unless you're going way back into like Lon Chaney era, which I haven't watched, a lot of the Phantom movie representations are all the musical. And the musical is fantastic, don't get me wrong. I love the musical. Anyone who knows me will tell you that. But that's not really what I wanted to go for in this video. So that's why I'm leaving out stuff like that. But Les Mis, I've got this one to use, and it's lovely. So those are my 3 1 and 2 halves, sort of. Let me know in the comments below, which ones do you agree with? What do you think I am wrong in any of them? Tell me which movie adaptations you liked better than the books. I'd love to hear from you, as always. But I shall bid you adieu, and I will see you next time on Thursday. Bye! That is his name, right? I know Jackman is right. No, Gregory Finch as... Gregory Finch. Gregory Finch. Fuck.